Sadgurunath Maharaj ki Jai. What a weekend for us. We had Swami Anubhavananji yesterday morning around this time for a couple of hours. Thanks to Dr. Prakash, he found out about us and he said, when people invite, I go. And I think it's the same true for the musicians as well. The host invites and they show up. And I was sitting here trying to think, what is there actually to say unless you understand? Because each one of us lives in our own world and we have knowledge of that world. But when you grow up in an ashram, you have knowledge of many worlds. And I don't mean the other worlds that people talk about. I don't go there. I just mean worlds in this world. For me, I feel fortunate that Baba Muktananda loved music. And because of his love for music, we, those of us who sort of sculpturally and subtly grew up around him, began to love music. And so we saw many great people come, sing for him. Ustad Amjad Ali Khan plays sarod, and many different tabla players, and pakhwaj, murdangam. Of course, first you don't understand anything. It's noise, because you don't know anything. And then slowly you begin to realize that he has some notes, he has some matras, and they have to be on beat, they have to be on time, and they have to arrive at the sum together. Some is not S-O-M-A, some is S-A-M. And as they were playing, I realized this is life. You have to be on time, you have to be on beat, and you have to arrive together. I often tell people that swara, tala, laya is an important aspect of life. And when these are not working in your life, then you need help. In our world today, I feel that a lot of help is necessary. We feel good. We think we are fine. But as Vinay was just trying to tell you, that when you come to a concert, when you come to Kirtan, when you come to satsang, when you just are in good company, what we have talked about in the last year or two, gathering goodness, sharing goodness. Now imagine parents who trust that their children will make it in music. Because art, as for whoever is an artist here, you know it's a difficult world. Some of them sometimes have day jobs to pay bills. And this is a hobby, a love that they have. And once in a while, somebody gets famous and he can charge whatever he wants or she wants. But the basics of life is not everybody makes it to being famous. I was telling Swamiji yesterday, there might be so many great yogis who live, meditate, are wise, filled with wisdom, knowledge, and they're born, they get all that through their own efforts, and then one day they die. And nobody has ever heard of this yogi living maybe in the Himalayas, maybe in some hill, or maybe in some ashram. We knew of a Swami Kaivalyananji. He lived at Surgiri Bangla in that ashram for over 50 years. And very few people came to know of him, of his love for the goddess, of his attainment. And he just sat there. Those who got it came, sat with him. I was fortunate, I was there the last about 2 or 3 weeks of his life. I was just staying in Haridwar. I didn't know what to do, where to go. So I thought most people would just waste time. I thought, you know what, I'll just hang out here with Swami Kaivalyananji. So I spent my time there. And it was just wonderful because I sent Madhu a quote yesterday. It takes a lot of knowledge to find out how ignorant you are. It takes a lot of knowledge to find out how ignorant you are. I don't know how many of you understand this, but I told Madhu that Sufis have a saying in this. There's a saying in Sanskrit, a shloka in Sanskrit. Wise men have told us that's not so easy. You can ask them, they come sit with a thought in the mind. Of course, the Tabalchi has no idea what he's going to do. Yet, there is no conductor guiding any one of them. And I loved in this last piece when he slowed down and then he picked up. I don't know how many of you caught on to that. I love that in Kirtan sometimes. We are going to drop. The audience doesn't understand. They think either we've lost it or the drummer has lost it. But no, we have not lost it. We've just understood that we can take a dip and come back up. And you can only appreciate all this when you listen to music. So maybe in your own home you can set up 2 speakers like this and sit in front. And why I came to love Ahir Bhairav, actually, I started listening to Pandit Jasraj. And he has a CD, I think, called Ornamental Music or Worship by Music. One, I get confused because I listen to both of them. And there's Ahir Bhairav in there. And it goes on almost for 54, 55 minutes. And in that he has Om Purnamada. And I love the way he sings Om Pur. And then the lady with him, could be Tripti Mukherjee or who, I don't know, but she also compliments him very well. And I would say, first time I'm sure, it's like, you know. I tell people it's like you take an individual and you know, if you don't understand the alap, you just think, because the mind is at so many funny places. And when Ustad Amjad Ali Khan came, he played Shri for Baba. And that also, because Baba was a meditative person, his audience was meditative. The musicians liked it because 45 minutes to an hour was nothing. Because our satsang itself is that much. So for an audience to sit, because that's a big thing, for you to sit, to come to that place of one-pointedness. And why such audiences are loved, I feel, by the musicians, is because they allows them to express without the fear that somebody is going to get up in the middle of the concert. As a speaker also, that's the worst thing. When somebody right in front of you has to go to the bathroom just at that moment when you want to deliver your punchline. And everybody is looking as to what is going to happen now. I ran out because I had to spit. I didn't run away for anything else. Devyani came behind me, what are you doing? I said, I need to spit. But I sat with the spit in my mouth for about 30 minutes. I could have gotten up and gone, but I knew that that would disturb the flow of what was happening. The Gita talks about Atma Sanyama Indriya, self-controlled senses. And I feel music, dance, satsang, all forms of art. And I would call satsang a form of art also, because it's an expression of whoever is speaking. It's an expression of the harmonium player, an expression of the dholak or tabla or pakwaj, an expression of the manjira, Most people think it's just 1, 2, 3. But how you play 1, 2, 3? Where do you leave the gaps? Where do you leave the spaces? I loved it when he went for a little while and just did the gig, and then came on the na. The teacher tells you, okay, you can do this. But then how do I express my teacher's teachings in a way that expresses me? We have Aditya Kalyanpur. What does he do? He does one thing that's, I think, he picks, he also does something. And that's, Vinay told me, at least once he will do it. And his own Guruji, I said it last time, a couple of times ago, he puts his hands up in Sam. And then Vinay sent me a video, and he said, you just said it, and there's a video of him just doing this. Because in the Sam, you want to play, but he does this. And if you don't know, you think, Guruji lost it. That's what disciples would normally think, a student or a listener would think, Anindraji forgot that Sam is where, but Sam is where he's telling you, I have reached the Sam. And this is the freedom I feel that we all need to come to. We are sitting, Sam, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3. But sometimes in our tradition it's allowed, anaghat and abghat, right? And it's wonderful when that happens. You cannot always do it. But you have to do it at the right time, either before or after. And it's just, wow, maza aa gaya. And of course, if nobody's paying attention, they think the tabla player has lost it. No, the tabla player hasn't lost it. He has consciously done that. And this is life. So, of course, we can go on. This is a chikitsa in itself, a type of therapy in our tradition. And it's just that we have forgotten it. The West is calling it sound therapy. But to actually have effect in the sound therapy, the therapist must do many times in a year 40 days of meditation. And so when that therapist does that kind of meditation, their intuition is awakened, so that when you come to visit them, I think some musicians have now talked to Vinay about coming here to Shanti Mandir and doing that. What did you call it there? Huh? Chilla. So Maharishi Maheshji of TM used to do that in the month of January for 2 weeks before his birthday, around his birthday. Food is delivered under the door, doesn't meet anybody, doesn't talk to anybody, doesn't see anybody, and still doesn't lose it. That's important too. So we are thankful to all of these various artists, and there's fortunately plenty of them around the world. And Vinay said he's a pianist, so that in itself is also amazing. I listen to Handel's water music. I listen to jazz. Of course, all this is in the car. And listen to different musics and try to understand what is going on. Rather than just taking an Advil or a Tylenol or I don't know what else you take, some kind of antidepressant. I tell you, music is the best medicine. I get headaches, but you got to find a particular pranayama, a particular om, a particular music, or just find rest. Because it is nothing but stress and uptightness that you have created in yourself that needs release. Those things you can become habituated to or addicted to, and think just pop too. No. Begin to enjoy this. Find whatever genre of classical stuff, I would say. Because there's some stuff out there that I would not recommend at all, that will give you a headache. I won't take names, But I think you understand if you are sensitive enough. Because where you want to go with this music is to an intuition, a place that's vibrating inside yourself. Swami Admabananji had one line that he said, which is wonderful, and if he said it yesterday, or it's on YouTube. Bhagwan ko khojo mat, Bhagwan mein kho jao. He said, don't go looking for God, get lost in God. So of course now you're going to ask, if I don't know what is God, how do I get lost in God? Actually we know it. But again, it's the same thing. We choose to remain ignorant. So we pray. We have many such music concerts, and Devyani tries, I think, at least once a month to have them. We used to have them Saturday evenings, but then COVID made it that people would just sit at home. They think I'm going Sunday morning anyway. So I told her, let's make Sunday morning, which I know the musicians like also, because then they get to play other ragas than the evening ragas. And gives us an opportunity also to listen and for more of you to sit here and go, when are they going to stop? And they are thinking, oh, you give them a nice smile. You're giving them a smile, telling them to stop, and they think you're enjoying and giving them a smile. Of course, I'm sure they understand the difference between the two smiles. Huh? But I would tell each one of you, there's plenty on YouTube to understand a little bit of what it is that they do, both sides. Sarod, instrument, vocal, whichever it is, and same with the tabla and pakwaj and mardangam and khol, and there's plenty of instruments. And what it will do for you, you may never become a musician in your life. That's okay. But your life will have swara, tala, and laya. You'll have a note. You'll speak beautifully. Your whole thought process will change. You'll be on beat. Your walk will be on beat. Your driving will be on beat. Your speech will be on beat. There's so many of you off-key, off-beat. And musicians tell me that it can be fixed, that it's possible. But it's work, it's effort. I always suggest to everyone, especially those, I think it works on both iOS and Android, to download iTabla Pro. It's $30 in the US, and just play it in the background. It has everything. It has Tanpura, it has Swar Mandal, it has Tabla, it has Manjira. And when you don't know, instead of picking up a beer or a cigarette or a glass of wine or any of those things and think that that's what will give me peace, just do this. In 5 minutes or less, you will become good. You'll become addicted to this, but that's a different problem. And because this will give you, like, because our Kirtan is on C, this is where we last it was. So you can just find, and I think the tal is possibly Keva. It'll be fun. Then you come, you sit here, and when you attend a program, you will have a little idea. And you can imagine how happy they will be that they are appreciated. We'll be happy because our Kirtan will be better. And today, Kirtan is actually world over very popular. It comes from their tradition, from Bengal. thanks to Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji. ISKCON and its young people, those who grew up in ISKCON, are coming together on stage and offering Kirtan. And somebody just sent me a link of a young man who's telling the audience, clap. And he's getting the whole audience. I think there's maybe 500 to 1,000 people in the auditorium, possibly in London, I don't know. And he said, your karma will go away. So he's got the tabla player playing. He's got the lady singing Radhe Govinda. And he says, okay, come on, everybody clap. And everybody begins. First you're shy, I think, clap. My friends are here with me. They'll find out I'm off beat. I'm off sur. Whatever it is. But it's okay. All of a sudden, being with those in rhythm, you'll come to rhythm. And he said, look at all the karma floating away. So this is also a therapy. Baba Bhaktivedanta, if you listen to some of his talks, he talks about the gongs, the bells, the conches, which are rung at Arati time, and the effect it has on a human being. He talks about Tanpura and the effect it has on a human being. I was just thinking when I was watching them play that oftentimes they practice with this, and this is a electronic tabla, and it's controlled. But then you have a live tabla player, and he can have a little, what we would say in Hindi, jhatka, a wish to improvise in the middle of his playing. And he'll do it, and could take the singer or the player by surprise. Ye kya kar diya? Take it in the middle of nowhere. Ati high, something. Of course, they also are used to it, but still sometimes just like, something that we all do in life. But that makes it exciting, because then the other person, the other musician thinks, oh, you want to show off? I can show off too. And so then there is what we call a jugalbandi, a play. So my prayer and wish to all of us who have gathered here on satsang today, on this Memorial Day Sunday, some of you are here for the first time, think of how I can uplift myself, and think of how we can uplift others around us. Don't go to a lazy mode and think, it's okay. No, we have to do something. We can't just sit and complain. And what I love about some of the Swamis that I meet, Devyani has been teaching me the last week, don't sweat the small stuff. So that's my new mantra, don't sweat. So I said, but what do I do when I sweat? She said, you are funny. So anyway, so these Swamijis come, and sometimes you realize that they try to maintain the higher frequency in their conversation, in their own thought processes. And then when we come together, they uplift us. And I'll end with one little thing I often have shared. Mahamandaleshwar Swami Brahmananji Maharaj, we would sit with him in Mumbai at his ashram, and Haridwar and Gujarat. But I remember in Mumbai, mornings they would have sadhyaya from 7:30 to 8:30, which was just outside his room. Gujarati people lived in that area, so the women would sometimes come with a small little container of some nasta, breakfast they had made. They would offer that breakfast, they'd pranam to him, and they'd start out with their problems at home. Maharajji would smile, the attendant would take the container, take it to the back, empty the container, put some prasad in the container, put it there. And Maharajji would just say some words of upliftment or uplifting words. And the person didn't even realize how their whole frequency had changed from complaining and bickering to an uplifting one, and say, Maharajji, kal aati hu. Maharajji, I will come tomorrow, and walk away happy that she had shared her problem, he had blessed her, she had prasad in her hand, and probably for that day at least for 24 hours. Home was good. Somewhere in Africa, a girl goes to her mother and says, I don't want my husband anymore. She said, okay, no problem. She said, but I cannot kill him because the law will be after me. The mother said, no problem. I have a poison. You put a little bit in his food every day. And then over a month he will die. But along with that, I also want to ask you to be nice to him, to be loving to him, to be patient with him, to not get angry. And she gives her all this advice. So after a month, she comes back and she says, Mom, I think I want to keep my husband. But what about the poison we've been giving him? The mother said, it's okay. There was just turmeric. But you have changed. And this could be husband, this could be wife, this could be any one of us. So the shift, the movement through music, through satsang, through conversation, is a shift in oneself. I'm sure if you really connected to their playing today, you could have had moments of total peace and quiet. You could have had moments of tears of joy. But you have to allow yourself to go to that place and just forget where you are and who you are with. And just simply allow yourself total absorption and equanimity. And I'm always grateful to all of them for the solo practice that they do, for the preparation they do, not knowing when the next concert will be or not knowing when the next program will be. Yet that, as in the Yoga Sutras, it says, Satu Dirgha Kala Abhyasa. How long should I practice? Patanjali says, non-stop, incessantly, for a long time. So for whenever they start, sometimes 3 years of age, sometimes 6 years of age, sometimes a little bit older. And then every day, every day, every day. On Facebook right now, there's a short video, if you look, of Ravi Shankarji with his guru. And it comes up every so often. And it's just wonderful to see the humility of the guru and his wife, the mother. And Ravi Shankar was a son-in-law of that family. Yet when he goes to visit Ustad Sahib and the mother, who hugs him with so much love. We all have our theories of what happened, what must have happened. We don't know. But what we want to see, for me, what I look at when I see such videos, is the unsaid words and feelings that are expressed. And to take that from that video. So we thank, firstly, our musicians for today, for this morning. To all of you who have joined us from different places, and some of you who've shown up. We are here. We are here every day. We do this every day. We do this all the time. We know nothing else. And we do it because we love it. We do it because it gives us joy. Sometimes people ask me, where do you like it other than the ashram? And I tell them I like the ashram. They said, you didn't understand my question. I say, you didn't understand my answer. You will hear many industrious people tell you that love your work. Work in such a way that you enjoy it. So you don't need to leave it to go enjoy. And this is how it is. Again, I thank Baba for instilling that in us. Practice, practice, practice. Practice with love, practice with joy, practice with a lot of fun. And then you will realize whether it is whatever form of music that is offered here, whether it is Kirtan, whether it is a Swamiji who comes and gives us satsang. That memories of those linger. Have you really heard this? Somewhere, something of the sarod will ring in your ears. Something of the tabla will ring. And you won't know in that moment if you're not into it. That what is this? What's this happening? But as you listen, there's plenty of good sarod players other than the ustads also. Listen to them also. Give them a chance on YouTube. And just enjoy them. There's the Darbar Festival in London. Then there's one in the Netherlands, which also takes place. Huh? Meru. And in India we have plenty of musical festivals that take place around India at different times. And Divyani is also working that we become a place of festival, of music, of dance. And that this space that we have. And I tell people in 1862, 100 years before I was born, the owner of this property, Mr. Borden, had that vision to create a place of retreat for his friends from New York City. Whether he was able to do it in his lifetime or not, I don't know. But I feel that at least today, 160 years later, his vision is being lived out. And all we can do, those of us who are alive today, is make sure that this vision continues. For the young people sitting here, don't think that this is just a bunch of noise. No, it is not. Train yourself, educate yourself, and you'll be amazed as to how you will feel, how you will make others feel. So now, Divyani will update the software.
I guess we're having I guess it's announcement time. So that's where I come in. So once again, thank you to our wonderful artists and our amazing musicians, and we look forward to your return again and again here at Shanti Mandir Walden. And thank you for gracing the ashram with your presence and with your music. We all take it very seriously here, and we also feel a lot of gratitude for each one of the performances that are performed here. We don't take it lightly, we take it to heart, mind, speech, and our entire being, so thank you. And also, I'd like to thank everyone for your presence here on this holiday Memorial Day weekend today. And in advance of the picnic that we're gonna have shortly, thank you all for all of your offerings that you have brought, that you have made, and that you contribute all the time to making all of this a wonderful, wonderful occasion for everyone. And programs coming up. We have International Yoga Day, which is June 21st. So we have two programs that are gonna take place here. One is on June 21st, which is a Friday. And we have Mary Hamra from Mexico City, who will be in residence offering a Yoga Nidra workshop on the Friday. It's 4 to 7 p.m. That's here at the ashram. And then on Saturday, there'll be a Surya Namaskar workshop from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So that's all in honor of International Yoga Day, June 21st. So June 21st, 22nd, mark your calendars. And then we move into June 29th. We have our intensive here with Gurudev from 10 to 4. And then as Vinay mentioned in the evening, we have our tabla solo with Vivek Pandya. That'll be in the evening of the 29th. And then that 30th, which is the Sunday, that'll be Gurudev's farewell program, farewell satsang for this visit, until we welcome him again on August 23rd. So keep those in mind. And then also Guru Purnima, our global meditation intensive is on July 20th. So that's July 20th, and that'll take place here. And also a reminder to everybody about the Bliss of Freedom course retreat that will be here in the fall. It'll start on August 23rd and go till September 8th. And everyone's invited to participate in that, and you can approach any of the teachers. Dana's here today, or myself, or Nicheshwari, and that'll have all of the senior staff and Gurudev conducting that retreat. And I say that it's one not to be missed. The amount that is covered in those retreats, along with the daily ashram retreat and satsangs and programs and conversations, question and answers, the scriptures, and in this particular one, explorations. It's going to be going into depth on different scriptures that's applicable and that applies to each one of us, but each teacher has their own flavor and their own unique relationship to some of those. So those are going to be explored and shared with everybody. So again, August 23rd to September 8th.